Crisscross applesauce. Hey guys, I wanted to talk about um, Eden Vice and the identity of Eden Vice. I've done a bit of research. I created a Pinterest board. I've never done that before, um, and just trying to figure out like what kind of vibe I wanted Eden Vice to have because it's really important. I kind of talked about this in a different video, I think. Yeah, about how like it's important to have an artist identity because it's all about the signal, and the signal is like what you put out, and it's what gives people the kind of immediate kind of understanding of like what um, I guess the artist is, or like the product, which isn't a good word, but we got to think about it as like a business kind of in a way where you're trying to sell a product and people don't know what the product is, so you need to kind of have um, it signaled in a way where like they can immediately go, oh yeah, like I kind of understand what this is about. And a good way to kind of do that is to attach it to other things that are in the same kind of bubble. um I guess there's this whole idea of like there being a mythology, but then also just kind of like a bubble identity, where if you were to see it come up on Pinterest based on like a certain search, it'll make sense that it's in there, if that makes sense. So I have all the mythology, and that's in the music itself. And I have like my different characters and stuff, but I haven't really figured out yet like the direct signal that I want it to be. But yeah, so I made this Pinterest board, and I am too lazy to show it in the video. So I'm just going to explain it to you. Um, in the Pinterest board, some of them are kind of random, some of them make more sense, but in the bigger picture, they all kind of signal towards the same thing. And it's just this persona of Eden Vice. So some of the weird ones, there was Edward Scissorhands, and there was the Xenomorph from Alien. Um, and these ones don't speak to a look necessarily, just more like a general vibe, you know? And then I also have Roderick from Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and I have the lead singer from My Chemical Romance, and I have um, Zac Efron from 17 again, when he gets the leather jacket. And then I have just a few different like 2000s like emo kind of vibe, but then also like the more outlandish 2010s kind of like party vibe with like LMFAO and like that song like a G6. There's a lot of like Lady Gaga earlier, and also just like that kind of 2010s red carpet celebrity vibe where like they have the big sunglasses and that kind of more mysterious vibe. Definitely like mainly black clothing dominant, at least initially. And that would be like the overarching kind of vibe for Eden Vice. And what I noticed is, I guess something I wanted to look out for was I didn't want to fabricate something that doesn't, I guess, represent a part of me. But I've noticed the things that I'm just naturally drawn to, like when I imagine what it would look like. A lot of them are things that I've always kind of wanted to express more fully when I was way younger, but I guess didn't. So it's interesting to see that like a lot of these things that I'm finding appealing now are also kind of were always appealing to me when I was growing up. And it was also interesting to kind of create an identity. Like my last video, I was talking about how I very much have this mentality of like, take me as I am, and I'm just going to be myself and do whatever. And like, if you find that weird, then whatever kind of thing. But it's interesting to kind of actually have control over an identity and like think about it as if it's like a video game character. Like, what do you want it to look like? What do you want it to speak like? How do you want it to act? And these are all things like you got to think about. It's got to all be kind of intentional in a way. So yeah, it's been really interesting. Also with the hair, even though I love having long hair and I like my long hair, I don't think it gives the vibe I want it to give, maybe. I don't know. Also, I think my forehead is too big, so I feel like I need to cover that. So I'm getting a haircut on Saturday, and the haircut I'm getting, it's gonna have like a fringe that goes down, so then my forehead's covered, and then it's gonna be shorter. Yeah, you'll see, I guess, when I come on the video. It'll either be really bad or it'll be really good. But I'm really excited because I guess it's one more step towards this kind of identity. I think always a black t-shirt, I think that could be like an anchor. It's like no matter what I'm wearing, I'm kind of always wearing a black t-shirt. And I guess that could be variations of this. And for the whole outfit to be predominantly black, but then to have kind of like accessories that are fluoro could be interesting, like fluoro bracelets, specifically. So like imagine like a black outfit and then like fluoro bracelets. I feel like that's visually kind of interesting and cool because it's like a mix between this kind of dark, mysterious energy and then also this more like 2010s kind of like party vibe. I think also just in that same bubble, things like that are nostalgic, I think are important because you see 2000s nostalgia all the time, like early 2000s nostalgia, but you don't really see artists taking advantage of the 2010s nostalgia. I don't think it's really come around in a huge way yet. So I would want to try and like capitalize off that with things that are nostalgia to that time. And it's fun because I get to like kind of look back on my childhood because that's when I would have been like 10 years old. Yeah, or like 7 to 10 years old. So I guess things like that I can think of immediately would just be like colorful things, honestly, like glow sticks or those, what are those called? Those frozen desserts that you get at like theme parks. Oh my god, what are they called? They're like in a cone and they got a little ball of ice and they put the syrup in the ice. Snow cones. That kind of era of like Disney movies, movie theaters, those kind of older buildings that are a bit more liminal, but it's specific to like that time. I don't know. I really have words to explain it, but it's in my head. And then also like those glasses with the slits in them, stuff like that. You get the idea, you get the vibe. Yeah, I feel like it could be really interesting. And then as for like personality, that's what I'm still kind of figuring out too, because I think it'd be hard for me to pretend to be someone else, to be completely honest. And I wouldn't want to just be completely dark and mysterious. I feel like part of my appeal is the authenticity or like freedom of expression to say things. And I feel like that makes me more interesting as an artist, and it inclines people to actually like listen more to what I have to say. That whole thing of like, I'll let the music speak for itself, I understand, but I think I wouldn't be able to kind of uphold this mysterious kind of persona all the time. But again, you never know how people are going to interpret you. So you got to kind of like be prepared for anything. Do that thing of like being a mirror to what people react to. Like, I could have planned a whole thing, but then as soon as like people start responding to a specific thing, it would be smarter to kind of, within reason, like capitalize off of that specifically. Like I've had people say so many different things about my music, like some like nothing bad, but sometimes they'll say it reminds them of a certain artist and I don't agree at all, so that kind of throws me off a bit. And it reminds you that like your inspirations can be specific things, but then people are just gonna like, you know, relate it to their own thing that isn't even linked in any way, but like you can't really control that. But then I have people who do get it accurate, and I guess it just depends on what their context is. And if the context is kind of similar to mine, then they'll understand it more or easier, or like hit the nail on the head. And I guess that's why taste is so important. And not necessarily having good taste, but having taste that's like common, I guess most common, or yeah, kind of is a is connected to the things that are popular at the moment, but then also back then, kind of like making a connection between the past and the present. I think that's what's really special about this time, is that there's so many different areas kind of living at the same time right now. We live in a very kind of like hyper reality at the moment, where the identity of 2026 is very much rooted in like the past. There was that whole thing of like 2026 is 2016 again, and that's really interesting because it's kind of like people yearn for the past. And yeah, I think that's all I wanted to really talk about. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. I think I'm gonna try and record one every single day if I have time. Yeah, just so, I think it's more so for me, so I have like a, what do you call it? Like a, not a catalog, but like a, diary of where I was at the time and the process, because I think it's good to kind of keep that, you know, somewhere, because yeah, it'd be cool to look back on one day, I guess. But yeah, I hope you liked that video, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, crisscross applesauce.